Big changes are coming to the real estate world. So if you're thinking about buying a house in 2024, make sure you listen to the rest of this video. If you know somebody who's going to be buying a home this year, make sure you share this video with them. I'm Amy Shrader with Remax Real Estate 10. And if you have not heard on the news, which you probably haven't because I really don't think it's been covered near enough, but NAR had been sued a few years ago by some sellers out of the Midwest. They felt like it was absolutely atrocious and egregious that they had paid the buyer's agent on the sale of their home. They felt like the buyer should have been responsible for that. We've had realtors forever and a day. Transactions with real estate being sold have occurred forever. And traditionally, the listing agent has always compensated the buyer's agent out of the negotiated commission with the seller. That's just how it worked. And so I'm not sure why these sellers felt like that was a surprise to them. But anyway, there was a class action lawsuit. And back in March, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, worked out a settlement agreement with the plaintiffs as well as the Department of Justice, the DOJ. Those changes that they are going to be implementing start August the 17th, which oddly enough is a Saturday, and I just think that's a weird day to say, hey, we're implementing these changes, right? The most significant change that's going to be taking place that is going to affect buyers is the fact that seller compensation for a buyer's agent will no longer be visible in the MLS. And a lot of sellers have watched the media, heard about the lawsuit, and they now feel like they don't have to pay a buyer's agent. In theory, that's always been true. Commissions are negotiable when it comes to the amount. But what that means to you as a buyer is you're going to have to talk to an agent and figure out how you're going to structure buying a home if the seller is not offering a buyer agent compensation. And that's going to be tricky, okay, because we're going to have to call before we take you out to look at a house. We're going to have to call each listing agent and find out, are you offering a buyer's agent commission? Is the seller open to that? And work with it that way. It's going to be a little more long drawn out process. It's not going to be as easy now to just call an agent and say, hey, I want to go look at 123 Banana Street down the road, because that agent's going to have to do a little bit of homework before they can show you that house. They're going to have to figure out how the payment is going to be structured. Some people say, well, it just sounds like y'all are being greedy. You're obsessed with finding out if you're going to get paid before you show me the house. Well, I'm going to ask you something. Would you go to work for a day, 2 days, and not know that your employer was going to pay you? I don't know of anybody that would do that. If you go in and you're putting in the work for someone, then you expect to be compensated for your time. And that's the same way with realtors. We are self-employed. We are not W-2 employees. So if I invest my time in you as a buyer to put gas in my car, take you around, look at these homes, then I need to be compensated for that time. We do it knowing that, okay, well, when they do buy a house, then I'll be compensated by the seller. But now that's not guaranteed. So if you're thinking about buying a home, please make sure that you're talking with agents and finding out, are you going to be responsible for paying for that buyer's agent if the seller doesn't offer a compensation? Or are you going to be able to work that into your deal? Can you bump up the sales price? Or how can you structure the deal to still get inside the house? The other huge change is that now realtors are required, before we ever open the first door for you, to have you sign a piece of paper that states you understand that you could be responsible for compensating us if you choose to buy that house. We've already seen some pushback from buyers who are like thinking we're trying to do something shady. They're like, they're trying to tie me into this. We don't try to tie anybody into anything. But if I'm meeting you at this house and I'm showing you this house, then I'm going to be compensated for that should you decide to buy that house. And the NAR, again, the National Association of Realtors, states we have to get this form signed. It's about having a conversation with the agent up front, finding out, is the seller willing to pay a commission to a buyer's agent? What's this going to look like? at the end of the day for you. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be more important than ever that buyers know their buying power before you go out and start looking at homes, because you need to know what kind of flexibility you're going to have. If you needed to bump up the sales price to get the commission covered, are you going to need your closing costs paid anyway? There's going to be a lot of variables into play on this. If you've not heard about the changes and you want to have a one-on-one conversation about what buying a home is going to look like after August 17th, send me a DM. I would love to sit down one-on-one with you, talk to you, and help educate you on what's going to be going on. Or if you have a friend or a family member who's been thinking about buying a home, make sure you share this video with them so that they're not blindsided come August 17th.